starts out. So
the first step. You need to find and label 2 points that hit the corner of a square. I will explain and draw a picture of what I mean by that. So in order for it to hit the corner of a square, so say this is your grid, and you have a line that crosses it right here. I'll figure that out later. Then it's hitting right here at the corner exactly. And so that would be the line hitting the corner of a square. If it hits the very corner on the grid, that's the point that you want. You want 2 like that. After you find 2 points, your job is to make a right triangle. Because that's going to help you find the horizontal change and the vertical change. So what's it doing from left to right? What's it doing up and down? The third thing is you write that vertical change and horizontal change. So sometimes you'll just count the squares. Other times you'll have to figure out, like looking at the numbers, what's the vertical and horizontal change. You write it as a fraction. Vertical change, big fraction bar, over the horizontal change. Sometimes you'll see me write that as triangle y over triangle x. This just means change in y over change in x. Sometimes you'll see that. It's the same thing. And then lastly, you should simplify your fraction if possible. And decide if it's positive or negative. So I know sometimes teachers do like, oh, it goes down, and so it's negative. I feel like that's confusing because then you end up having like 2 negative numbers somehow, and then you're not sure what to do. So I would say wait until the very end to put positive or negative. That'll help. No, what would Slope Dude say?
0.
No, he doesn't say 0. What does he say?
0 fun.
This is 0 fun. This is 0 fun. You can even write that down.
This is 0 fun.
So if Slope Dude is having 0 fun, then the slope of the graph is literally 0. If it's a horizontal line, then the slope is 0. If it's straight up and down, the slope is undefined. So this is 0 fun. That's it. So you don't have to do the right triangle, the points, or any of that stuff when you just got a flat line, horizontal and vertical. On this one, you might notice that you already have 2 points. So you don't have to put 2 points because it's already there for you. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next step, which is to make a right triangle. So if you don't remember from last year, that's okay. This is called your hypotenuse. I don't really need you to know that. But just know that the line is going to act as your hypotenuse. And then these 2 are your legs. And so this will be your horizontal distance, the one from left to right, and then the vertical distance up and down. You can't just count the squares because if you notice, these squares are going by 2s. So look at the actual numbers. From left to right, it goes from 2 to 5. So what is the horizontal change? 3. From 2 to 5. 5 minus 2 is 3. So that would be 3 because it's 1.5 squares. Another way to think about it. Because each square is worth 2. The horizontal change goes from, the vertical change, goes from -3 to 4. So how much is that?
1.
No. -3 to +4. 7. 7. And I would label that on my triangle. And then we write it as vertical change over the horizontal change. So our slope is a fraction. Guys, what's my vertical change? What? 7. What is my horizontal change? 3. Can we simplify that any further? No, and I do not want you to write it as a fraction, so you need to leave it like that. Or sorry, I do not want you to write it as a decimal. Whew. Leave it like that. It would be better to leave it like this. Slope we want to leave as improper fractions. Do not change it to a mixed number. And what would slope dude say?
This is nice negative.
It says puff, puff, positive. You could even write it down.
Oh my gosh.
And so then you should probably label your slope. You could put positive 7/3 or just leave it like that because it's implied that it's positive. You don't put a negative.
Exactly.
Slope dude say?
Nice negative.
Nice negative. So remember, after you're done writing your fraction, you need to put a negative sign. So let's find 2 points that hit the corner of a square. So right here. You actually have 2 more options. You could keep going another 3 to the right. Hits right there. And at the end, it hits again. So make yourself a right triangle. And since your graph is not labeled, that it's going by anything else other than 1, it's okay to assume it's going by 1s. And so you just get to count the squares. What is the vertical change?
2.
2. What is the horizontal change?
3.
And so we write that as a fraction. Vertical over horizontal would be 2 over 3. But slope dude says it was nice negative. So put a negative sign. First thing you do is find your change in y. So how are the y values changing? And your change